Hello, and welcome to Viva La Action, the podcast where we're talking about all things action movies, the good, the bad, and the underrated. My name is Santi, and with me as always is my co-host, it's Grayson.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Very
tired.
Same.
My little fingies hurt.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
We're back in the saddle.
Yeah, we are.
This is the longest time I think we've ever done between being in the room.
Yes.
No, not between episodes, but
okay.
between being in the room.
Yes.
Because our last episode we were in the other room.
Yes.
And then the episode before that we were not in the same room.
Yes.
So this is our longest time between being in the room.
In the room.
Welcome back to the room.
Yeah.
Everyone. Deep breaths, everybody. Okay. Yes. We are continuing. I'm just going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
We're continuing our Jimmy Wang Yu marathon.
Yes.
Last week, 3 weeks ago, we talked about The One-Armed Swordsman.
Yeah.
This week, we're talking about a different movie.
Yep.
And this week, the movie we talked about was The Man from Hong Kong. He blown it all sky high.
That was a banger of a song.
It really is. That's actually one of my first notes that I wrote down. I just wrote, this theme fucks so hard.
It really fucking does. It's very good.
It is very good. The Man from Hong Kong, Grayson, is a 1975 action Hong Kong exploitation film, directed and written by Brian Trenchard Smith. It was also co-directed by Jimmy Wang Yu. The film stars Jimmy Wang Yu, as well as Hugh Keys-Byrne and George Lazenby, and then a bunch of other Australian actors that I don't have written down. Which is fine. They're all very good. I just don't have it. What do I normally do here?
You got it.
I didn't have the budget written down, but this film does not pass the Bechdel test.
No. In fact, it's probably a little offensive to women.
It's very sexist, this movie. Very sexist.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another thing I always say before I say the synopsis. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I was going to ask about that. What the fuck?
I don't know. I think, okay, so last week I was re-listening to our last episode, and in that I was like, yeah, this one movie doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes review score because it doesn't have enough reviews. Apparently that number is 12 because The Man from Hong Kong only has 12 reviews and it has 100%. So
doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense.
Yeah. Oh, I just exited out of everything. That's fine.
Jesus. Oh, brother. Oh, this guy.
Oh my God. This is a mess. I don't have the plot synopsis from IMDb. There's a guy who goes to Hong Kong. He shoots a bunch of people. He's like Asian Dirty Harry. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, basically.
It's sort of a James Bond ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the right.
Agent Sing Fang Lang of Hong Kong Special Branch.
Yep.
He tells you that about 5 times.
The man from Hong Kong, while on dispatch in Australia to extradite a drug courier, a tough Hong Kong cup. So you do this. A tough Hong Kong cop wages a one-man war against Sydney's most powerful kingpin.
Yes. Good. Perfect.
Yep.
Good of you to participate for once in the note section.
Goddamn. Roasting me live on air.
Just kidding. That's not your job. Your job is to be here and be my support.
Well.
And provide a springboard for me to bounce things off of.
Yeah. What if I just turn the recording?
That would be really sad. we would benefit from starting over at this point, but we're just gonna plow on because that's what show business is, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Grayson, what'd you think of this movie?
I thought it was fun.
Oh my God, it's so much fun.
I thought it was fun.
It's a very weird movie.
It does have its moments, strange little moments, but overall, I will say, there were some moments where I was like, man, this is hard kind of to watch. and you're gonna laugh at this.
Yeah.
Mainly because the hair.
Yeah.
On all of the white dudes.
Yeah.
Was horrible.
It was horrible.
It was so bad.
This movie is just.
I couldn't take any of them seriously because I was like, you look like a rat.
Yes. Yeah, it is a fashion parade of ratty little men. This movie.
They all looked like they had some sort of skin condition.
Yes.
They needed to be using way more sunscreen than they probably were.
Yes.
And whoever was doing hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Don't quit your day job.
Oh my God. And everyone's so sweaty.
Bro, okay.
The whole movie.
The first sex scene.
Oh my God.
Did they just take like a hose and hose them down?
I'm imagining a guy with a spray bottle just like in between takes.
Like the droplets on them were so big.
Massive, yeah.
It was absurd. They were so sweaty all the time.
They were. Also there's like what we talked about earlier. There's some very weird like male female dynamics in this. So like I guess we'll just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about this because it co-stars Jimmy Wang Yu, which I mentioned at the start. Oh, we didn't turn our on-air sign on.
Oh, I got you.
Oh my God, this is a mess. Okay. Anyway,
right, now we're officially on air.
We're officially on air. Co-stars Jimmy Wang Yu, who, if you remember from last time we talked, he was a martial arts star. He's sort of the pre-Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And when we last left him, he had burned a whole bunch of contracts and freed himself from the grip of the Shaw brothers. So at this point in Jimmy Wang Yu's career, he is mainly working in Taiwan on martial arts films with producer Raymond Chow, who, if you watch the credits for this movie, he's a co-producer on this film. And Jimmy Wang Yu was acting in other people's movies, but primarily he was acting in his own films.
Yeah.
And it's at this point that I feel inclined to reveal to you that part of the legacy of Jimmy Wang Yu is that he was a real son of a bitch.
Well, I kind of figured.
He's not a son of a bitch in the sense that like he wasn't like he's not Harvey Weinstein, right? Like he wasn't like going around groping and being weird and whatever. He was a son of a bitch in the fact that he was real mean. He did not like working with other people. Like he was a real egomaniac. And we're gonna get into this a little bit later, but he was also heavily involved with the triads. So he was involved in like gang activity.
Very nice.
He was accused of murder.
Whoa.
So he's got like this crazy legacy. But the reason I want to talk about this movie is because it meets him sort of in the middle of this like period in the 70s where like everything was blending with kung fu, right? Yeah. So like every genre you can think of, it's got a kung fu crossover, right?
Yeah.
You got kung fu westerns, you got kung fu horror, you got kung fu spy films, which is kind of what this is.
Yeah.
And this is also interesting because it's like at the intersection of what's called ozploitation films. So right around this time, we were getting what was called the Australian New Wave. So Australian films were sort of starting to become like come into their own, basically. Like prior to I think it was like the early 60s, Australia didn't really have like a film identity. Like in the way that we think of like the UK has like a film industry, the US, whatever. Australia was kind of like, didn't have like its own like imprint on the world, right? Like we didn't, like now if you watch like an Australian film, you're like, this is an Australian, like it has like, notes of an Australian film. But up to that point, they didn't really have one. So they had started like, kind of making their own films. And at this point in the 70s, you'd had movies like Mad Max, like Razorback, and I'm trying to think. There's this really, really great documentary that I watched this week called Not Quite Hollywood. And it's about like the Aussie like film renaissance in the 70s and 80s. And it was just like all these like crazy exploitation movies with like, biker gangs and nudity, and like there were like sex comedies and action films and whatever. So the the director of this movie, Brian Trenchard Smith, he'd had the idea. He was like, we're making all these movies in Australia. He's like, what if we made like a kung fu movie like in Australia, in Sydney?
Yeah.
And so originally they wanted Bruce Lee, but he was hella dead. So
yeah.
And you can kind of see some of the like hallmarks of Bruce Lee in this, like at the end when they have like the big fight in the warehouse.
Yeah.
He's wearing a jumpsuit.
Oh,
which it's a blue jumpsuit, but
yeah.
but stereotypically Bruce Lee wears the yellow jumpsuit. So anyway, all that is to say, it is just this interesting blend of like Aussie sort of crazy stunt work and explosions and whatever mixed with the like Hong Kong kind of style.
Yeah.
So it was funny watch because I was part of the reason I watched the documentary is because a big section of it is about this movie.
Oh, nice.
And it was funny, like the very first thing they brought up, they're like, Jimmy was horrible.
Yeah.
They're like, he is mean. Yeah. Like, apparently he really did not like white women. Like, just like thought they were like the scum of the earth. Like,
Jesus.
Just was real like mean to all the female actresses. Like, told them that like he'd rather kiss a koala or whatever.
What
like,
the fuck?
Yeah, he was just a real mean guy.
God damn.
And it was kind of funny watching it because they would cut to the director because the documentary was shot in like 2009.
Yeah.
So everybody's a lot older, but they'd cut to the director and he was like, yeah, I had to do this or whatever. And Jimmy was kind of difficult to work with, but we got through it or whatever. And we cut to somebody else who had worked on the movie and they're like, we all wanted to kill Jimmy Wang Yu. They're like, every time he was mean to Brian, we were ready to fucking get in the middle of it and
throw hands.
And I'm like, oh man, either they really hated Jimmy Wang Yu or they just really loved Brian Trenchard Smith. But
yeah.
Anyway, it's a great documentary if you get the chance to watch. Not you specifically get the chance, but anybody gets the chance to watch it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's always a bummer when like you find out that an actor that seems pretty cool turns out to just be like a complete piece of shit.
Oh yeah. And like, he had a long life, right?
Yeah.
Like he lived into his 70s and
yeah.
A lot of his more like diabolical things that he did were in his youth.
Yeah.
So he definitely got mellowed out as he got older. That's not to excuse any of the things he did, but yeah, it's just interesting. So one of the things that I think is okay, let me go back to the start. So we were talking about like the weird sweaty sex scene.
Yeah.
I think this movie opens. I love the opening scene.
Yes.
Where there's like the chase up the rock.
Yeah.
Which that's a famous rock structure in Australia, but I can't remember the name of it. But then there's also like the helicopter.
Yes.
The tiny helicopter chase at the same time. What'd you think of that scene?
Brother, you're in a helicopter. You can chase down a fucking car.
Yeah.
It cannot be that hard.
But also, like, what were they gonna do?
I know, like, that's like a news helicopter.
Yeah.
You're not armed.
There wasn't a gun on it.
Yeah. Like, what are you gonna just, like, set it down on the car?
He's like, I'm just gonna keep following him until he runs out of gas. I don't know. Which, to be fair, he didn't really have to do anything because the car just flips and explodes.
Yeah. So that made that job pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could have been a little bit more exciting just because, like, now, to be fair, obviously, that's probably the biggest helicopter they could afford.
Right, yeah.
But, I mean, still, you could find a creative way to have the, pilot try and stop the car. Because he doesn't
That's true.
really do anything.
No, he doesn't.
He just kind of like follows the car.
Also, so I assume there were two people in the helicopter.
There had to have been.
Because you see the pilot of the helicopter and it's an Asian guy. But then when the helicopter lands, a white guy gets out. So I assume there were two people in the helicopter.
There have to have been, or else that dude learned how to like morph.
Yeah, he's like just a side plot of this is that he's a shape-shifting alien.
Yeah.
So did you? Not that you would, but did you recognize the Chinese gangster guy at the beginning?
A little bit. Yes.
He might look familiar. So his name is Sammo Hung.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about him before because he was coming up at the same time as Jackie Chan. So he's kind of like he's like a compatriot with him. They like starred in a lot of each other's movies. And the reason he's in this is because he was also signed to Golden Harvest along with Jimmy Wang Yu and Jackie Chan.
Oh, gotcha.
And was good friends with Jimmy Wang Yu and with Jackie Chan and what have you. But you probably recognize him because he's in Yip Man 2. Obviously he's much older, but he's like one of the he's one of the other like kung fu masters.
Yes.
And he has a fight with Yip Man on a table.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that fight.
Yes. Yeah. He's famous. We're going to watch a Sammo Hung film at some point. He's famous for being a big guy who can move really nimbly. Right? Like he's real quick and speedy, and he can like he's like good at like being on his toes and stuff, but he's like a bigger guy.
Yeah. That's cool.
He also famously made a parody of Enter the Dragon called Enter the Fat Dragon.
We gotta watch that. We have to.
Which Donnie Yen remade a few years ago.
Oh, very nice.
In a fat suit, interestingly. Sammo Hung was just fat at the time.
Yeah, that was authentic.
Yeah, that was just him. Anyway, yeah, so Sammo Hung is in this. He gets shot by a sniper later.
Which is horrible.
It is horrible. So one thing I was curious, why were they both handcuffed to him?
Genuinely, I don't know.
I'm like, I feel like one of you could be handcuffed to him.
Yeah, why are you both? Because I feel like that was part of the issue of why he got sniped. Like, you guys were... What, you both wanted to feel special?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they're all walking like, la la la.
I know. This isn't the Wizard of fucking Oz, brother. Like, goddamn.
Okay, well, anyway, so there's the initial, like, action scene or whatever. One thing I did like, when you see the car explode, the door comes, like, flying off.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and I was like, 100% that probably almost decapitated somebody.
Oh, yeah. They were not planning for that.
No.
I bet you that happened, and there was just, like, quiet on set.
Yeah.
And then, like, the director went, "Is everybody okay?"
Yeah. Because, it was the 70s, so they probably, like, rigged the explosions.
Yeah.
Everybody stood 1 foot behind the camera, lit a cigarette, and just, like, waited for it to explode.
Yeah.
And then when it just, like, nearly decapitates all of them, they're like, oh, well, get back to work,
Yeah. Good job, folks.
Good job, everybody.
Yep.
Don't forget to take your cocaine.
Yeah. Complimentary out the door.
Yeah. Just take a line as you exit.
Yep.
One thing I do love about 70s films is there is such a like hatred for like cocaine smuggling and heroin and whatever.
Yeah.
Where at the same time, everyone on set was on cocaine.
Bro, I would put money that the prop heroin and cocaine was just real.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They were like, man, we really need prop cocaine. We need to go get flour. And somebody's like, hey, I got like a whole kilo in my car
I just have some cocaine if you want some.
Yeah.
There was famously a movie where it might be The Crow, where there's like a big pile of cocaine.
Yeah.
And they were like, how'd you do that? And they were like, it's just cocaine.
It's just like legit.
Real. It's just like $1 million of cocaine right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is also ironic that Jimmy Wang Yu throughout his career played like cops and whatever while he was actively in a triad.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
It could mean nothing.
It could be nothing. Could be projection.
Perchance.
So I guess I should also explain. I'm sorry, my brain is like all over the place with this. Because normally what I do is I go away, I watch the movie.
Yeah.
If I have time, I'll watch it a second time.
Yeah.
I take notes and then I like look stuff up, right?
Yeah.
But usually what I do is I write a Word document where I like organize all of it so that I'm not just like all over the place.
Off the dome, yeah.
I skipped that last step, so now it's just all in here and I got nowhere to put it. So I'm just vomiting all over the place.
That's okay.
A triad. So if you don't know what a triad is, the triads are essentially Chinese gangs. So there are American triads and then there are Chinese triads. If anybody's interested, I think it's Wired. The YouTube channel has a really great series with a gentleman whose name I can't remember, but he's like a former triad member.
Yeah.
And he like breaks down basically how they work. Essentially they are just like the mob, but in China, right?
Yeah.
Essentially every country has their own organized crime.
Yeah.
So it's sort of just a version of that. But significantly, the triads, and to a great extent today still do, controlled a lot of the film industry, right? Like,
oh yeah,
and this still happens in the U.S. too. People don't talk about it, but it does. It's really easy to launder money through a film, right? Because movies are essentially shell companies anyway, and it's really easy to just be like, look, I funded this movie. I don't have to pay taxes. It's like, so the Triads famously funded a lot of films in Hong Kong. And also famously, a lot of actors were sort of indebted to Triads or worked with them or whatever. So Jimmy Wang Yu, and I can't remember the name of the specific Triads he was involved with. He was kind of associated with this certain Triad. I don't think he ever was like a hitman or anything like that, but he, I'm sure, probably moved some product at some point because he was, he could go between countries pretty easily.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of times where he got involved in like scuffles. Famously, one time he got involved in a scuffle at a restaurant in Taiwan, and somebody got murdered. And I think he got blamed for it, but then he argued that he was just like a witness to it.
Yeah.
And he, didn't end up having to go to jail or anything. I think that happened a couple of times. So he was definitely like involved. Like there's no like doubt about that.
Yeah.
You can like debate how involved he probably was, but yes, it is very similar to like how we think of the Italian mafia or the Yakuza or whatever. Very similar structures and whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you didn't know what a triad was.
Yeah. I had some idea. I hadn't done like extensive research into it though. So
I mean, it's as interesting as any sort of organized crime is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so okay, I gotta go back to where I was gonna say, like right at the beginning. So there's the opening scene.
Yes.
Then there is a very long intro where somebody is just like paragliding. Is that what it's called?
I think.
No.
Yeah, I think that is paragliding.
Yeah, paragliding. Like over Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Which I think is Taiwan, because I don't think Jimmy Wang Yu was allowed in Hong Kong. But anyway, I think it's Taiwan, and there's a great theme song, and it's called Sky High.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the artist, but yeah. So there's just these like loving shots of Hong Kong as like she's like flying over it, but then she accidentally lands on a military base, which unfortunate. Also, it is surprising that they didn't just shoot her out of the air.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, as you're flying over that, you now enter military airspace.
Yeah.
They'll shoot you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if this was set in the U.S., she would have been paced by the time she hit the ground.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, is that a paraglider? Like, I don't know, looks like a drone. Shoot it.
Shoot it, and then just missed.
Yeah.
They're like, cool.
No, but she lands, and he's like, we got to take your kite. And she's like, it's not my kite. And he's like, we're taking it anyway. We're going to charge you. And she's like, don't charge me. And he's like, all right.
Okay.
And then they have sex.
Which, that makes sense.
Which, yeah, I guess it's like, also is like, is that bribery?
A little bit.
I guess it is.
A little bit.
But like, is it bribery or is it coercion? Because like, who instigates it,
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Maybe it's both.
I hope it is probably both. Which is the first sort of sexist thing that happens.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
That scene is quite funny though, because when she's like flying down, she like doesn't land because it's obviously like a stunt man. Yeah. So he's like flying, and instead of like landing, he just like falls on the ground. Which I guess, is that how you're supposed to land a paraglider? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think you're supposed to like, it's kind of like how you like land if you're like parachuting.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like run and then like stop yourself, and you kind of like pull back and use the thing as like a
No, he just slams into the ground.
Yeah, just fucking.
Yeah, he probably broke every bone in his body.
Probably.
And they were like, "Here you go, $20 of cocaine."
Yeah, that'll fix you.
We need you to drive a car later.
Yeah. And he's like, "Can I have an ambulance?" And they're like, "No."
No, but you can drive it.
Yeah.
So then he ends up back. He flies to Sydney. They're in Sydney because they lovingly show the Sydney Opera House.
Yep.
A couple of times.
A few times.
And he like meets two cops while he's there, and one of them looks like a cop, and the other one looks like a mechanic. He's wearing a onesie.
Yep.
I think it looks like a really long shirt.
Yeah.
But he's just got like a belt over the top of it. And he's got real long hair and a dangly earring.
Yep.
And
you're like, you're not a cop.
You're not a cop. That's just a guy. Fun fact about him. That is Hugh Keyes Byrne. You and everyone else would know him because he's in Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh.
He plays Immortan Joe.
Holy fuck.
Yes. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
He also plays Toe Cutter in the original Mad Max.
Wow.
They're not the same character.
Yeah.
He's the same actor, but different characters.
Yeah.
And he has since passed away.
Ah, damn.
He passed away a few years ago. But,
rest in peace.
He's in like every like Australian film from the 70s. Like every time I turn on, like I was watching this documentary, every movie they talked about, I was like, there he is again.
There, I found him.
And you know it's him because he looks the same in every film. He's wearing the same outfit.
It's just the same. They're like, hey, can we maybe put you in something different this time? And he's like, fuck you.
Fuck, I will not change my hair.
Yeah.
I will not change my dirty rat mullet that I've got.
I'm telling you, man, the hair in this movie is so bad.
It is so bad.
So bad.
There's some bad hair and there's some bad ethics on screen.
Oh, 100%.
We should say... I really like this movie, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
I think it's a great throwback kind of fun exploitation film. Oh my God. There is so much police brutality in this. Yep. There is like no chain of evidence.
Nope.
It's just a man breaking and entering.
Willy-nilly,
killing people for no reason.
Yeah.
He blows a man up at the end, and that's like the justice he gives for no reason.
We'll get to it, but Jesus Christ, that was so fucked up. That was genuinely one of the most, I think, fucked up things we've seen in a movie so far.
And he's the good guy.
Yeah. If I had seen that without context, without seeing the rest of the movie, I'd be like, so that's the bad guy, right? That's the dude that we're rooting against. Yeah, super. Oh, and there's rampant racism.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's to be expected in a film like this.
Yeah. The plastic surgery scene.
Oh, yes.
Holy Jesus.
So I should say,
God damn.
He's got 2 love interests for some reason.
Yeah, one of them dies.
And then the other one he's just like, I don't know, whatever. Because he meets the woman at the start.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Sydney, and he's like, I'll see you when I'm there. And then he hooks up with her again, even though she's already like hooking up with some other dude.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then she like takes him to the villain's house while he's at a party.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's like, all right, see you later. And that's pretty much the last we see of her.
Yep.
But then he like meets this other woman who like takes him out to the country so he can like heal his wounds.
Yeah.
And then she like falls in love with him over the course of one day, it seems. And then she dies in a car crash.
I know. Like, why is she catching strays?
Yeah. I'm like, what did this poor woman do?
Yeah, she just was helping, and I guess she had to explode.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, there is a line about having plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
I should say, I'm critical of stuff like that, but in a movie like this, it's more novelty than it is like upsetting, right? Like you're watching it and you're like, I can't believe they used to be like that.
Yep.
But you're not like, I'm so offended. You know?
Right.
You're just like, oh man,
that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. I'm glad we don't do that anymore.
Yep.
But it's kind of fun and like the past. You know?
Yeah, I was talking to my parents about it on the drive over here, and my dad made a good point of just like, you know, the fact that now when we see that we go, ugh.
Yeah.
Growth.
That's good. Yeah,
right?
that's growth.
It is good. Because, yeah, if we went, oh, haha, that's super funny, and applauded it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Be like, haha. I don't know. I couldn't think of one of the racist things he did.
Yeah.
I should say 2. So, it's been a very long week. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long it's been.
Yeah.
The first time I watched this, I fell the fuck asleep. Like, halfway through.
Fair.
Because I was real tired.
Yeah.
And so then I, like, woke up and I tried to finish it. Couldn't finish it. So, like, I had to watch it again the next day.
Yeah.
And then, like... So, like, the first time I watched it retained basically nothing.
Yeah.
So then I had to watch it a second time.
Yeah.
So I'm basing this off of, like, 1.5 viewings of it.
Yeah.
The stunts in this look real dangerous.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised nobody died.
Yeah, like the him rappelling down the fucking building.
Oh my god, yeah.
Holy shit, was he tethered to anything? I don't think so.
It didn't look like it.
Yeah.
I didn't see why. Like I was looking for wires and I didn't
me
see
too.
them.
Yeah.
And then there's like they flip a car,
Yes.
right? Like a van.
Yeah.
And he's like in it.
Yeah.
And you see him like flipping in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at that car. I'm like, I don't see a roll cage. Like,
yeah.
I think they just flipped a van and it's on fire.
And
and he's like got to get out of the car while it's like on fire.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's
man, you can't do that.
No, you cannot do that anymore.
You can't do that no more.
Speaking of on fire, the villain is lit.
Oh my god,
fire.
he's so on fire. A man has never been more on fire.
Yeah.
Like, and here's a fun fact. I was watching that documentary, and so I should say too, the actor who plays Wilton. His name is George Lazenby. Most people, it is a great name. Most people will know him because he was James Bond. So Sean Connery was the first Bond.
Yep.
Second Bond was George Lazenby. He was Bond for one film. And then it was a different guy. Nice. I think they went back to Sean Connery.
Very good. They tried out George, and they were like, yeah, you're not doing it.
Well, so here's the thing about George Lazenby. He's a real loose unit, right? Like, he's just like, he is a fun-loving bloke. Like, he's the most Australian guy ever. Like, when he's in an interview, he's like, oh, I did bloody Bond, and I didn't really like it. So then I moved on, and I was doing all this stuff, and now I'm sleeping with Bond women, and I'm going to all these he's like 68 years old. Jesus and he's talking about how he's like, yeah, I'm still going to conventions, and I'm sleeping with all these women, and I'm like...
yeah.
And famously, he was cast as Bond because one of the producers saw him eating chocolate, and they were like, that's Bond.
Brother, let me be Bond. I can eat chocolate pretty good.
Which, in this movie, he does not look like James Bond. He's just like, he's like a big Aussie guy with a giant mustache.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was watching this documentary, and they were talking about, they wanted him to be lit on fire, right? And there's this thing called water gel.
Yeah.
That they cover you in it, and then they can light you up, and basically you don't feel like you're on fire, because it's like, what's actually on fire is the gel. Not you, right?
Yes.
And so... he like didn't want to do it, and so the director was like, watch, I'll do it. Like, so he got covered in it. They lit the director on fire.
Yeah.
And he like ran around for a bit, and he's like, look, it's no big deal, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
And he was like, okay. So they lit George Lazenby on fire. And at first he was like, he's acting, he's whatever, and he's like, this is fine. But then he started to freak out because his coat was on fire. And they actually show it in the movie. He's like struggling to get the coat off.
Yeah.
And he was talking about in the documentary, he was like, I could feel the fire like coming up my arm. But they just like didn't cut because they were like, they're like, this is good stuff.
The 70s, baby.
Yeah, so George Lazenby's on fire, trying to get his jacket off. And Wang Yu's still like kicking him and like whatever. And I guess like they like went as long as they could, and then the director ran in with a blanket and just like tackled him to the ground, like to put him out.
Yeah, that's
fantastic stuff. God, you can't do that now.
I know. Everybody on the production crew was like back there just like doing coke, not paying attention to anything going on. And then somebody looked up and like, hey man, that guy's on fire.
Hey, George is still on fire.
Yeah, and they're like, oh fuck.
And Lazenby's like, ah! Oh, I love the 70s. You just light a man on fire, just walk away.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I knew he was going to get lit on fire because he's like regular one shot, and then the next shot, he is sopping wet.
He is soaked.
And I'm like, oh, he's about to be on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much fire in this.
I know.
And it looks so dangerous.
It really does. I know. Like every moment, like even the beginning, the car flip.
Oh, yeah.
That looked terrifying.
Well, even when they're on the rock, right?
Yes.
They look real close to the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Sammo Hung has to get kicked once, and he's flying to his death.
Gone.
Yeah.
Well, and when the cop kind of got kicked down and he started rolling, I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
He's going all the way to the bottom. Mm-hmm. I for sure thought he just was gonna die.
It looked real steep. Like, I don't know if it was a trick where they like weren't as high as they looked, but man, they looked high up.
Yeah.
This is what you could do before unions.
Yep.
God, why unions got to go and ruin everything?
Kiss your union rep on the mouth.
You should. Yeah, you should. Here's another thing. I was just looking at my notes. Jimmy Wang Yu is dubbed the whole film for some reason.
I didn't even notice that.
Okay. Oh, you okay. Well, I guess it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Did I notice? Something seemed off.
His English is definitely dubbed.
Yeah.
Like, that's a different guy. I don't know. When he's speaking Cantonese, it might be him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's dubbed 100% the rest of the time. And I could tell because it was that classic, like, you know, the one that they all make fun of where, like, he says something, but then his mouth keeps moving.
Yeah. Okay. I did notice because somebody, and I don't even know if it was Jimmy, but somebody said something, and the caption was like 2 words.
Yes.
But they talked for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was the opposite of the Wayne's World thing.
Yeah.
Where like it's Sammo Hung when he's getting interrogated.
Yes.
He's like says a bunch of stuff in Cantonese, and then he stops, and then the caption pops up and just says "piss off."
Yeah. I'm
like, I would like to know what he actually said.
Yes.
But apparently he just spoke for 20 seconds for no reason.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I did notice, but it was one of these things where I noticed and I was like, that kind of tracks.
Yeah.
I don't think they had good dubbing technology back then.
What did you think of the turtlenecked assassin? Remember he get there's the sniper on the building.
Oh.
And he's got that bright blue turtleneck on.
Yeah, how do you not see that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, how it's bright as day.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, there's a sniper up there.
There's a guy up there.
Yeah. He's got a big gun.
Funny enough though, his gun wasn't as big as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, it was
you see him put the bullet in and he latches it and it's this big.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's that bullet traveling that far to shoot that guy in the back?
It had to be a high velocity round.
It must have been. But yeah, and then he's up there and he's in his bright blue turtleneck and he's lumbering away. But I'm like, how did Jimmy Wang Yu see him? He just looks up and he's like, there he is.
Yeah.
And then he chases him down and manages to beat the piss out of him in a Chinese. Also, one thing I love about this movie, when two people are brawling, they're just destroying everything.
Their casualties are just abound.
Chairs are quaking when they see Jimmy Wang Yu coming.
Yeah, they're like, oh god,
that man
please.
Is crashing through tables.
Yeah,
he's picking shit up and smacking guys with it.
There are people getting hit. There's the fight that he has with Wilton in at the party or whatever. People were just getting hit.
Oh yeah, for no reason.
They were just looking. They were just watching, and then just some dude just gets hit by a chair.
Yeah. And
he's like, I'm not involved in this.
There's so much collateral damage.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I swear there's times where he's breaking chairs for no reason. He's just smashing through them.
Yeah. I think he just has anger issues, and that's his, way of...
Yeah. I would think so. Yeah. Also, did you like how when he's chasing that assassin down, they knock over that poor guy with the fruit twice?
That poor dude couldn't catch a break.
He's just walking with his fruit, and then the assassin runs by and knocks him over. And then Jimmy Wang Yu's running, and he trips over him too for no reason.
He might as well have just stopped him and just beat the shit out of him. Yeah, fuck you. Anyway,
I was watching. I was like, he could have gone around, but instead he intentionally trips over him.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Jimmy,
leave him be. He's just
fucking Jimmy.
He just wants his fruit.
Oh, there was a great. I'm just listing things I liked.
Yeah.
There's a great transition where so they leave Jimmy Wang Yu with Sammo Hung.
Yeah.
They're like, you interrogate him. We're gonna go get a beer. All right, we'll be right back.
Classic.
And they start getting into a fight. And there's a shot where Jimmy Wang Yu goes to kick, and he makes contact with Sammo Hung's crotch.
Yeah.
And at that moment, it cuts to them playing pool.
Yeah.
So there's a transition from him getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah.
And then you see the pool balls go flying.
Yeah.
Incredible transition.
That was fantastic.
10 out of 10.
I also love that because they're playing pool, and the cops are like, oh, should we have, left him alone? And the one's like, how bad could it be? And then we hard cut, and Jimmy throws him across the room, and then a chair
just hitting him with a chair.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, it can't actually be that bad.
It can be real bad, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's just a wrecking ball. Why'd they send him? Like, of all the cops, they're like, send the worst one.
Yeah, send that guy.
He will blow up Sydney, but
Yeah.
I guess send him.
It'll be fine. We have hope. Maybe he won't do it this time.
And then at the end, the cops are like, good job.
You did it.
You blew the fuck up out of that building and destroyed all our evidence, but
Yeah.
congratulations.
I know. Okay, that's what I didn't get. He gets a signed confession
Yeah.
and the heroin
Yeah.
as evidence. He still pulls the pin. What's the point of the confession then? That dude, gone.
Yeah. He's in bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the crime scene analysis is going to go up to the building, and they're going to
man.
be like, there was a grenade in his mouth. What'd you do?
What happened? Also, I don't think there's going to be a crime scene.
No, because that whole building just exploded.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I didn't understand the
like,
getting a signed confession.
but also for what? Like, I get that he's a drug lord,
Yeah.
but it's like, you got the smuggler that you were
Yeah.
there to get. He got shot, whatever.
Ooh,
but like,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm out to get this dude. For why? For what purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a drug dealer, but like,
Great.
what did he do to you? They never explain it. They're not
Yeah.
like, he killed his wife. He's just like, I hate this guy. I
I
just found out about him. But
yeah, I specifically hate him and I want to see him
yeah,
suffer.
I hate cocaine. That's
Yeah.
what he's like. It's like,
That's all he says.
yeah.
And it's like, dude, just leave him alone.
And that results in him putting a grenade in someone's mouth.
Yeah.
And pulling the pin.
That's,
Insane.
I could not believe that.
What a crazy movie.
That tape,
Yeah.
clearly painter's tape.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How Wilton couldn't get that shit off of his face is beyond me. If you've never fucked with painter's tape, it's basically paper.
Yes.
With like the weakest adhesive you've ever seen in your life.
You know, to be fair, he was just on fire.
I guess.
And he did get beat up by a tiny little guy from Hong Kong.
True.
Um,
True. But also, that grenade wasn't taped in there very well.
No.
And so just take the well, he also did get locked in the safe.
Yeah, he
So-
wasn't getting out of that no matter what he did.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you, don't be a drug dealer.
I get, or else somebody will put a grenade.
Somebody
in
will
your
put a
mouth.
grenade in your mouth and explode you. Objectively more horrifying than anything that guy did.
Yeah. I mean the worst that guy probably did was put a hit on somebody.
Yeah. You blown it all sky high.
Dude, she sure did.
He sure did.
Good lord.
I should say too, the whole score is incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guitar, but it's real funky.
Oh,
it's
it's groovy.
Like people
for
will just
sure.
be walking down the street, it's like whack-a-dock.
Yeah. Yep. Bring back that shit.
Oh my god, I love 70s scores because
Yeah.
they like, it's like the 60s they were still like, yeah, orchestral is like
Yep.
whatever.
Nice and classic.
And the 70s are like, hey, what if we put a bass guitar?
Yeah. What if it was groovy?
What if it was groovy?
Yeah.
What if we had a synthesizer?
Yeah. They were just like breaking out everything, and then
Oh, yeah.
they were like, "What fucked up effect can we put behind this?"
Where'd my metronome go? Wait, what do they call that? The slide whistle. Where's my slide whistle?
Where's my slide whistle at, motherfucker?
Or the
Put that through a synthesizer.
yes. What do they call? You know, in like old like sci-fi movies, the like ooh, ooh.
Oh.
What do they call that?
I don't know.
It's called
It's like a doohickey.
a doohickey. Yeah. I'm surprised there was no didgeridoo in the score,
I know.
considering it was shot in Australia.
I know.
But that's okay. It was too funky for that.
It was too funky.
I love a funky score.
True.
Okay, what else do I got to talk about? Let me see. What else you got?
I was a little surprised by the boob.
Oh, there was a boob. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
little boob.
A little bit as a treat.
It's like, but what was
was
this rated
fine.
R?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You
Yeah.
got a little boob.
Okay. So the last rated R, which I think actually was a One-Armed Swordsman.
Technically, yeah.
I was thinking, all right, it's a rated R, is probably going to be a boob.
Yeah.
There wasn't, and so in this one, I was like, probably not a boob. It's just going to be kind of gory.
Yeah.
And then there was
We got one boob.
one. Yeah. It was like
Single
1.5.
boob. 1.5 boob. which constitutes an R rating.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the violence more than the boob,
100%. Yeah, they were like, yeah, the boob is PG-13.
Yeah.
Shoving a grenade in somebody's mouth, though?
That's an R.
Yeah.
That'll get you an R.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, watching that documentary, I was a little surprised there wasn't more nudity in this.
Yeah.
Because that documentary, there was boobs all over the place.
Really?
I was affronted by it. It was just like, there was this lady and she took her tits out. And then there was that girl and she took her tits out. And then we got another girl and she took her tits out. And then it like cuts to this woman and she's like, I took my tits out. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do about it?
They're Australian. I don't know why I did in a New York accent. Took my tits out. There was also a little tiny bit of an interview with the woman who played, is it Laura?
I think so.
She's like the journalist.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, Jimmy Wang, he was horrible.
He was the worst.
She was like, having him on top of me for like however many hours a day was just awful.
That sounds horrible.
He was just a mean and like nasty man. Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead. So.
Well. All right.
But I do. Part of the reason I want to talk about him is because you don't have Bruce Lee without Jimmy Wang Yu.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, without him sort of putting this kind of movie on the map, you don't get what we have now. You don't get Bruce Lee. You know, it just doesn't happen. Like, he really paved the way for martial arts stars. Like, he really reinvented what we think of as like the like Asian action star, right?
Yeah.
And so that should not be forgotten. But it's also important when we talk about like entertainment figures that they're complicated, right?
Yes.
Like they're people.
Human.
Yeah, they're human. So you can't just be like, he was great and everything was fine.
Yeah.
It's also gonna be like, he might have killed somebody. You know?
Yeah.
He was terrible and he was mean and he was like, you know, he probably had complicated relationships with his kids and like he was divorced a bunch and like, you know. But then when he went away for a long time and eventually made a comeback because he was in like 2011. He was in this movie called Dragon with Donnie Yen. And he plays like an old martial arts master guy, right? People were excited to see him again because it's like we haven't seen him in a long time. And he's like a doddering old man now. He's not like a criminal anymore. So it's like, I don't know. It's complicated, right? He's not like a black and white figure. Right. But he left. I also think it's like important to like look at the whole of martial arts movies.
100%.
Right? Like you can't just look at what they made in Hong Kong. You have to look at what they made in Taiwan, what they made internationally. Yeah. You know. And it's just fun. It's fun to look at these movies that are like this fusion of like things that were in the moment, right?
That were just happening.
They're just happening. Because in 50 years, they're going to look at movies we were making now and be like, how fun.
Yes.
How neat is that?
Yes.
You know? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's worth talking about.
It is.
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, same. And like I did have fun with this movie for all of its faults.
Yeah.
It was a good fun time.
Yeah.
Seeing all sorts of explosions, great. I will say the action
It is very good.
I think it was very well choreographed.
Yes, it is.
You know, nothing like we see today.
No.
Obviously, but for the 70s, very good.
Oh yeah, especially like there's a fight scene at like a dojo that's really good.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Where he's fighting like 6 guys at once and he's doing a very good job.
Yes.
There's a fight in an elevator that's quite good.
Yes, that poor guy.
Yeah, that's the director, by the way.
Oh.
He made a little cameo as
Very nice.
as a guy in an elevator who
Nice.
gets mangled.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the fights are very good.
Nice.
The action is just good in general. There's a
100%.
very, very good car chase.
Oh yes.
Where he's like leaving the country and they're like pursuing him on a motorbike and some other things.
Yep.
And that I found very innovative because they do a shot that they do now that you don't see very often where they put the camera on the side of the car.
Yes.
Like you don't see that usually in 70s films.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty innovative.
Yeah.
You know, because what that does, the lower to the ground you put the camera,
the faster
it looks, right? And so those cars feel real fast. And like that's just a great car chase.
Even though they probably topped out at like 90.
Yeah.
Barely.
And they're like rattling to your very core.
Yeah. You're like redlining the RPMs.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. Good action.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I have any other notes I wanted to bring up.
And even with the bad dubbing, I think the dialogue was pretty...
It's not bad.
It was okay.
It could be way worse.
Oh, it can be worse because we've seen worse.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fight of Fury.
Yeah.
There is some funny dialogue.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially Hugh Key's burn. There's a lot of moments where he's like, come on, man, help us out.
Yeah. He's very animated.
He is very animated.
I do like Australians because they're just like, they're very charismatic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're great.
There's a reason they keep producing really good actors.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Hugh Jackman.
I know.
And Margot Robbie.
Huge jacked man.
Huge jacked man.
I still find it funny that when casting Wolverine, they were like, all right, in the comics, he's like 5'2" max.
Yeah.
Who should we get? The biggest Australian man we can find.
He's 6'4". He's perfect.
He's 6'4". He's like 350 pounds.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah. Is he 6'4"?
He might be.
Alexa, how old is Hugh Jackman?
I don't know that.
Okay, that's fine. She doesn't know.
He is 6'2".
6'2". I was off by 2 inches.
Stands 11 inches taller than Wolverine, who is said in the original comic books to be 5'3".
Incredible.
Yep.
Oh, Hubert jacked man.
Yep.
Yeah, they should. The next Wolverine they cast should be a little guy.
Oh yeah.
Just get a guy that's 5'3".
Find you a short king.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yo, Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine though would go kind of
That would
crazy.
rip. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty good.
It'd be on par for his just like insane post Harry Potter bullshit.
Yes. Yeah. Have you ever seen Guns Akimbo?
No, but I want to.
Oh man, it's wild. That's a wild movie.
I also kind of want to see a Swiss Army Man.
Oh, I've seen Swiss Army Man. I find it profoundly disturbing, but
I just love this idea that they've taken a human being and just turned him into a Swiss Army
yes,
knife.
it is a very acquired taste of a movie.
I can imagine.
I did not love it, but
Yeah.
I can see why someone would.
Yeah.
There's a lot of farting in that movie. Just put it that way.
Nice.
One thing I wanted to bring this up too. I love when people have weird standards, right? So I was watching this documentary about these Australian films, and this one director was talking about he was like, we made like the first like real Aussie film, right? And it was this like raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he's like all the humor is like piss and shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like stepping on dog shit
Yeah.
and vomiting, and it's like
Yeah.
all this like that's the humor,
Yeah.
right? And which I find like that kind of humor is not for me, right?
No, yeah.
But then later in the documentary, he's talking about like horror movies and these like
Yeah.
exploitation films that they were making. He's like, I just think that's real low class. And I'm
All
like,
right.
you're the piss and shit guy.
That's your title.
That's your title.
Is Mr. Piss and Shit.
You made Mr. Piss and Shit the film, and you're like worried because there's some titty in like these other movies. I was like,
brother,
what is your standard?
Where are your expectations
Yeah.
at? Because
I don't know. I also loved they kept cutting back to this one director, and I don't know his name. I don't know what he directed, but he was my favorite in the whole documentary because they'd say one thing and he would cut back to him and he'd be like, I thought he was a real dick. And that'd be it. And then they go back to the rest of the documentary and they'd be talking about like, yeah, and all these directors, they start bringing in American actors. Cuts to him. I always hated Americans. Cuts back to what they were talking about. I was like, I love that guy. I hope he has so much success.
yeah.
Just hates everything. That's me as a director.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Yep. What a legend.
What a legend. Yeah, I don't know why you would be pretentious when you're the piss and shit guy. That's all
I
I'm
know.
saying.
Like, reel it in, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, Grayson,
Yep.
what do you rate this movie out of 10?
For as much as I enjoyed it, I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
Oh man, we're so in sync. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Hell yeah.
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 Like okay, I had fun, but the bad dubs,
Yeah.
the racism, the misogyny, some of it just was like not clicking.
Yeah. Yeah. I should say too. Let me say this, and I don't normally say this, but it's something that I think is worth mentioning. This is the kind of movie you should not watch on Tubi. And the reason I say that is the pace in this is so dependent on you watching it in one go.
Yes.
That ad breaks really ruin the experience. Like, I found watching it on Tubi, that was kind of frustrating. Like, you would just build up some momentum, and then it would go to commercial. And when it would come back, you'd be like, I don't remember what's happening. Right? So if you can watch it on, like, rental or on Blu-ray or something, I think it's better. So for me, I'm also giving it like a 6.5. I think if I'd watched it somewhere else, maybe I'd feel differently. But yeah, rewatching it on Tubi was not ideal. I think it's part of why I fell asleep, because I was like trying to focus, and then like it would go to commercial, and I'd be like, because the fucking Charmin bears are yelling at me or whatever. Anyway, yes.
Were you getting the ads bashing whatever senator we have right now?
No.
Okay. I kept getting one that was like, oh, this person wants to increase your tax so that, you know, we can pay the illegals. They literally said
I'm
that.
sure they did, yes.
And I was like, you're advertising in the wrong state.
Yeah,
like,
I'll never... what movie was it? I think it was Bullet. When we were watching Bullet, I kept getting ads for Trump's a plan, like his bill. And it kept being like Democrats ruin the economy, but Trump's bringing it back. Tariffs that increase, just like bunch of lies and bullshit. And I was like, can I get any other ad?
Can I get something else, please? I will say the very first ad I got was a McDonald's commercial in Spanish. So.
Oh, good. Hell yeah. Hey, McDonald's. Hamburguesa. Anyway. I also get a lot of ads in Spanish on Tubi for some reason. No other site, just Tubi.
Just Tubi. It's like, oh, I see you're in New Mexico. Would you perchance like a...
Hola.
Hola.
Como está? El Charmin. Okay. Yeah. 6.5 from me. 6.5 from you.
Yep.
That's going to do it. Which means it's time for everybody's favorite section of the show. It's editor's picks.
Wahoo.
I should normally carry a pen. I feel very powerful pointing.
Yes. That's your new thing.
Yeah. I'm pen guy.
Pen guy. At least you're not piss and shit guy.
I'm not piss and shit guy. Not now, not ever.
Yeah.
Do you have something?
I'm going to do a video game.
Ooh, nice.
Hades.
Oh, nice. Yes.
I never finished it. I played... I played it so I have it on Steam.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to figure out something to play, because I was like, I don't really feel like World of Warcraft. I don't really feel like Baldur's Gate right now. Magic right now makes me want to blow my brains out, because the fucking ranked standard, if you play Magic, you know what I'm talking about. Fuck you, mono red mice.
You bitch.
Eat shit. Monstrous Rage should get banned. Anyway,
whatever that means. I'm here for it.
It's fine. And so I was like, I should replay Hades. So I clicked on it. And I had only played like 80 minutes. Maybe like 90. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So I loaded it back up, and I had a save, and I was like, I'm just going to delete the save because I don't remember how to fucking play this.
That's fair, yeah.
And one of my coworkers had given me an Xbox controller that he like just had sitting around that he was not using.
Right.
And I was like, and I think part of the problem that I had with playing that game was I was doing it on mouse and keyboard. Holy fuck, that's a nightmare of a game to play.
Yes.
So I'm playing
a controller game.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm playing it on controller, and it's going a lot better.
Yes.
So
I love Hades, but
it's so good.
I will never finish it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's really good.
Yeah.
The voice acting is phenomenal. So here's the thing about Hades. If you don't know what Hades is, it's a roguelike, you know, your dungeon crawling type deal. But there's like a legit story.
Yes, yeah.
Right? When you look at a lot of these like roguelikes, it's just kind of, there's like a loose story.
Yeah.
But it's like mid as fuck.
Yeah.
Hades, like everything is voice acted. The score, incredible.
Yes.
The story is phenomenal, and it's just like it just feels so unique.
Yeah. And you know what I really like too about it is that the art is really nice.
Oh my god, it's
like
so
it's
good.
it's a it's what do they call that? It's not 2D. It's what do they call it when it's like off slightly?
I can't remember.
Oh, we're struggling today.
I know.
What the hell is it called? It's whatever.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
sort of 3D. It's sort of 2D, but
Yeah.
I usually struggle sometimes with like 2D games, but this one is like so beautifully rendered, and like you don't lose any detail in the
Nope.
fact that it's like top down.
Yep.
And yeah, just the character work and like the voice acting and everything, and the combat feels really nice.
So good.
I played on the Switch and it doesn't feel bad like
Yeah.
most things do on the Switch.
Yeah.
It like feels really smooth and
Yeah.
like just such a well rendered.
Yeah.
But my problem with Hades, and it's not Hades' fault, it's my
Yeah.
fault. I have the kind of brain where like I am always aware of how long things take
Oh yeah.
and how much effort it takes me to get to a certain thing.
Yes.
And so when I'm on a run in Hades, if I get to a certain point and I'm aware that I only have X number of lives left,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I can't get any further without like extreme effort involved.
Yeah.
And so I lose momentum because I'm like, okay, I beat the Gorgon, I beat
Yeah.
whatever. I need to get through the rest of this level, but I know it usually takes me about a life and a half, and
Yeah.
I've only got half a life or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it. I have to just start over. And then once I start over, I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
I don't want to do it. I gotta start. Yeah.
So that's not Hades' fault. That's my
Yeah.
fault. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great game.
It's fantastic. And Hades 2 is right now in early access.
Yes,
So
it's coming out soonish. Next year, maybe.
next year.
Yeah.
I think that's what they said because I read it on Steam
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, we're thinking 2026."
Okay.
So
Cool. I'm also gonna recommend taking a nap. No. I'm also gonna recommend a video game.
ooh,
So it came out about 2 years ago, and I should say this is probably a recommendation for if you very specifically like the same things that I do. It's called El Paso Elsewhere.
ooh,
It's like an indie game. I think it was developed by like just a small group of people. It is a third-person shooter similar to Max Payne. So it has a lot of like slow-mo mechanics and like it's rendered to look like an early 2000s shooter.
Oh.
So it's got sort of like the blocky
yeah,
aesthetic, but obviously like modern-ish graphics. So it's a very pretty game.
yeah.
But it's about a vampire hunter. So
What is it called?
it's called El Paso Elsewhere.
El Paso Elsewhere.
But I should say it's very existential.
okay.
So the main character is this guy named James, and his ex is a woman named Dracula. So he used to be with this vampire, and she is performing a ritual at a motel. And so you have to go to this motel and fight your way down.
yeah,
So you go like floor by floor.
that's super cool.
But as you're going, things start getting weird. So like you start out just like fighting vampires like on the first level.
Yeah.
And where I'm at, there's like ghouls and goblins, and you're
Holy
like
shit.
you're in half a motel, but it's also a graveyard, and also the sky is a void, and it's just
Whoa.
like it's a lot of fun.
That's
but
cool.
it's got this sort of like noir voiceover.
Ooh.
Like it's a lot of him being like, I was only 16 and I found out that like I wanted to kill myself or whatever. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
it's very whatever. Oh my god, it's so good though.
Hell
it's
yeah.
just like very tonally, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
And just like it's so much fun.
Nice.
The mechanics are really good. It's a little frustrating at times because it is like it has the difficulty level of an early 2000s game where occasionally you encounter an area that you just have to slam your head into like 50
Yeah.
times before you get it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just a good game.
Very nice.
There was another thing I was going to say about it. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, it's also really funny.
oh,
Like
really?
there's some really great sort of like funny jokes. Like there's a moment where you encounter a werewolf in a bathroom and you like have to shoot it, and then
Yeah.
that's like an enemy you encounter for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But you like go through the level and then you get to the end of the level and it cuts to the main character and he's sitting on a bed and he's like, was that a fucking werewolf? And then it just like cuts to the next level.
Nice.
I was like, that's some good stuff.
That's
so
cool.
Anyway, yeah, El Paso Elsewhere.
Nice.
A game everybody else probably already played 2 years ago, but
Yeah,
I just found it, and it's a good time.
Very nice.
And they're also gonna make a movie out of it, maybe.
Ooh.
With Lakeith Stanfield,
Ooh.
who's perfect casting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Very nice.
that's all I got.
Hell yeah.
Take us out of here.
You can find us on socials. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram,
Instantgram.
Facebook still.
Technically,
kind of,
yes.
Technically, it's mainly Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. Don't send me a message on Facebook because I won't see it.
Yeah. Viva La Action at all of the places. I'm gonna say.
Yes.
If you're listening on any of your podcasting apps/websites of choice, you can, if it has a rating option, you can give us like 5 stars, that
5
sort of
stars.
thing. If it has like a comment section, you can give comments. If you're listening/watching on YouTube, you've heard it a million times. Like, comment, subscribe.
Absolutely.
The thing is that like there's a reason we say that, and because you engage with the algorithm.
Yes.
And the more engagement, the algorithm then pushes it, and then it helps us out. We're not just saying it because we're cringe or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. We are, but
we're a little cringe. But yeah, engaging and pressing buttons helps.
It does help. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
You can share it.
Share it with a friend.
Yep. I feel like I'm missing.
You got it.
Oh, emails.
Yes.
We got an email. Viva La Action at gmail.com.
.com. Yeah, that's right. I got that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a little Google form you can fill out to give us suggestions.
Please do. I haven't checked it in a while. I should check it. But
yeah. You can also just give us suggestions in like DMs or whatever. It has to be an action movie.
Yes.
We will not do like, Sweet Home Alabama.
No. Oh, no. No, we wouldn't. Which I think is a song.
It is a song, and it's also a movie.
Is it a movie?
It is a movie.
Oh.
Here's the thing. I think Sweet Home Alabama is pretty good.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. That's the porn version.
Ah, of course.
No, Sweet Home Alabama is pretty good. I really like it. It's a nice little romance comedy deal.
Good to know.
So, but yeah, it has to be an action movie.
Yes.
And shout out, who was it? Turkey?
Turkey, yes.
Turkey. Shout out Turkey. Thank you guys.
Thanks for being one of our biggest supporters, Turkey. Yep. I don't know if it's just one guy or if it's a bunch of guys, but thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, email in, send us a message, fill out the things.
Interact with us.
If you want to send us some money.
Oh, right. The Ko-fi, whatever, ko-fi.com/Viva La Action. Yep.
There's a link for that in the description.
Yup.
You can send us as little as $1.
Yep.
Which
you don't
we'd
have
appreciate.
to, though.
You don't have to.
We would appreciate.
We would.
We would be kissing you on the mouth with tongue.
I would send Grayson their 50 cents.
Yep.
I get my 50 cents.
Yep. And we go buy a stick of gum.
Yeah. Stick of gum. We chew it.
Yep.
Spit it in someone's eye.
Yep.
Anyway. Yes. If you want to do that, we will eventually put some movie commentaries up there.
Yep.
When we have time.
Yep.
We don't have time. Nobody has time.
Nobody has time.
Time is rapidly running out.
Shit's been fucked.
Yeah, shit's been fucked. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Y'all.
If you want to find Grayson, you'll find them whirling around on the top of their head like a spinning top.
Yep.
In traffic.
Yep.
And you'll find me pulling the ripcord right behind them. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Grayson's the Beyblade.
I'm the Beyblade.
Yeah.
You're pulling my ripcord.
Yeah.
Nice.
Giggity. Do people still say that? I don't know.
know.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Get out of here.
See you later, bitch.
We love you. Just kidding.
We love you. Bye. Bye.